played a clip, Rob, with Pete Hegseth. If we can get into one of the clips. This is a peer of yours. This is a guy you work with. This is your buddy. He all of a sudden is being announced as getting this big job. Did you at all have any clue that he's getting this job? Did you have an idea?
Yes, I had an idea. I mean, I'm going to be straight with you. Yes, I knew that he was a possibility to be a part of this
How long did you know that?
Well, look.
Was it a week, a month, 2 months?
I think months was the idea. But I only knew that Trump thought very, very highly of Pete Hegseth.
Got it.
And there was a possibility that after the election they should be talking.
So then what that tells me is that but was it for a job or was it like, I like you, let's stay close, let's talk? You know what I'm saying? Because those are two different things.
Trump, look, in June of 2024, Fox and Friends Weekend sat down with Donald Trump and had an hour-and-a-half long interview.
Okay.
And let's just take a moment to appreciate that. I know that you guys have done that at PBD. He sat down for what was scheduled to be a 60-minute interview and asked his people as we went along, as he's done on several shows, let's give him a little more time. Let's give him a little more time. And when it was over, he's like, I just let it run. I let it go. Don't edit it. It'll rate. People will love it. And we did on the Will Cain show. Obviously, for TV, you have to edit it. You have to put it out in incremental chunks that people can consume. We ran it on the Will Cain show. But when it was over, or actually during the show, while we're on air, he says, you know, you, Pete Hegseth, would be great for Secretary of Defense. You'd be amazing. Says it on air, right there. I'd love to have you. And then he says, I'd love to have all three of you. I'd take you all three if I could. Which, by the way, as of last night, he took my other co-host's husband, Rachel Campos Duffy, Sean Duffy, to be the Secretary of Transportation.
Amazing.
So what an upgrade from Mayor Pete to Sean Duffy. Great guy. So yeah, I mean, I think Trump was pretty open about his interest in Pete Hegseth.
Got it. So it's been public. It's not something that, even if it was kidding about it, the audience may for the first time be like, wow, he's really interested in him? Yeah. And now it's real. The job is real. Now, here's how the media reacts to it. I want to get your thoughts on it. Play a couple of these clips, Rob.
The Secretary of Defense nominee, Peter Hegseth, the Fox News commentator as well, because this is someone who, weekend host, important distinction. This is someone who, you know, is known to be a white supremacist, known to be an extremist, whose platform, whose book is basically about his opposition to the advancement of black officers to the top brass.
What's the other clip you got, Rob? Because this was fantastic. Do you have a better one? Let's look at this one here.
He's also under fire for some of his tattoos depicting religious symbols and phrases that fellow service members flagged to his superiors over concerns they're associated with white supremacists. Hegseth saying those concerns amount to anti-Christian bigotry, posting, "They can target me, I don't give a damn. But this type of targeting of Christians, conservatives, patriots, and everyday Americans will stop on day one at Donald Trump's Department of Defense." Hegseth's post notably not disavowing the supremacists who have adopted the symbolism, though he has in the past.
Now, here's a question. When you guys are done with your shows, and you're in the locker room changing, you're showering, you know, shirts off, and you see the tattoos, what do you think about his tattoos?
So let me say this first of all. Okay, Pat, you have done this, Tom, Vinny. People in TV often say, this is my friend, this is my friend. And the truth is, it means little more than I'm friendly with that person. Okay, so I'm going to be upfront with your audience. I'm upfront with my audience. I have this belief that do not feign objectivity where it doesn't exist. You have to start your relationship with an audience with the truth. And the truth is we have biases. Here's the truth. I'm not objective on Pete Hegseth, okay? I have a bias. He is a real friend of mine, not a TV friend. I have said, when I'm done here on this planet, I want him to be one of the guys that carry my casket. Now, because I'm not objective, though, or that I have a bias, doesn't mean I'm wrong. Because of this, I know the truth about Pete Hegseth. And this is an incredible, incredible man with the right values, a flawed man who's made mistakes in his life, but a good man who wants to live up to his values and has principles and dearly loves the United States of America. This tattoo issue is nothing short of defamatory. And I'm waiting for the army of lawyers to start attacking the mainstream media for what, look, I'm an attorney. I went to law school. For a public figure, the standard is malice or reckless disregard for the truth. That is malice. That is malice. Look, the picture you're showing right now, okay, that picture is when Pete is swimming across the Hudson River, 3 miles, with 100 Navy SEALs. I've done it twice with him on national television, on Fox and Friends. We air this swim. If that is some type of white nationalist symbol, why would he be blaring it across the news channel to a national audience? Millions of people watching. That's the Jerusalem cross. That is a cross that's been used since the Crusades, since 1096. It's still used in Bibles. And I think he's right. For them to attack that right there as white supremacists is nothing short of defamatory, not just towards Pete, towards historical literacy, exposing yourself as an idiot, and towards Christians.
You would assume these guys that claim they went to the best schools would know what the meaning of that is, and then they come out and criticize it. I mean, look, we had him on, and we had a great time with him. You know, you remember when he was on. It was a great conversation, very entertaining, fun, straight up, but also military guy. You want a guy to be tough, experienced. A lot of times, these folks don't realize that. What's his resume, by the way? He's got 2 bronze medals.
2 bronze stars.
2 bronze stars. He's got
combat infantry badge.
If you
3 deployments.
3 deployments.
Helping veteran. He's an all-around stud.
So it's not like we're talking about somebody that hasn't. Now, by the way, I mean, to be fair with everybody, you get the job. Now you got to go prove yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You got the job now. What are we going to do now? How's the market going to react to it? Forget about how the market reacts. Anybody that gets a job for the first time, all this, everybody's going to start taking shots at you. And then after the dust settles, takes about a week or 2. Now it's about getting to work and seeing what you're going to be doing. Tom, your thoughts?
First of all, I agree, because Cain don't feign. He's being very authentic here about his feelings, about his friend and everything, and bringing, I think, straight up testimony here. What I look at the media, I mean, way back when I grew up, and I got my MBA, and I almost got JD MBA. But I didn't want to go clerk for a judge, and I stepped off. But I remember watching a movie called Absence of Malice, and it's talking about the exact standard you're talking about, that if there's no malice in what you report publicly, then there's no foul. But this is malice, and the media is attempting to do it. And this election is all about throw falsehoods and see if they stick. Project 2025. Trump is not part of that. Other people are, and they kept trying to throw that. Yeah. And what they're trying to throw here is that, that's a bad symbol. That's a bad symbol. To see if people will think only an inch deep and take it to heart and say, wow, this guy's got a tattoo that's a bad symbol. But what you said is absolutely correct. It's your Jerusalem cross. And what the media is doing is they are trying to defame that which they fear, and they're trying to find points of undermining during this lame duck period for Biden and during the ramp period. They don't have news anymore. They lost the election. They lost. They've got nothing to talk about, so they're making things to talk about. And this is the invention of negativity that's been part of their arsenal of attack through the election cycle. And now they're extending it to a decorated veteran that is not Secretary of Defense.
I'm not surprised.
He's been nominated.
I'm not surprised, though.
No, it doesn't surprise me, and I'm calling it back out.
You know what shocks me, though, that the left, all this mainstream media, they haven't learned their lesson. They've been to the Super Bowl election twice and they've lost. They're using the same plays, racist, this. And by the way, whose job is he taking? Lloyd Austin, who not only he had prostate surgery for cancer. He didn't report it. He didn't do nothing, which is a complete violation. That's a horrible chain of command mess up. And by the way, under Lloyd Austin, the military's faced 25% recruitment shortfall, record low, dangerous distractions like DEI. And I think Hegseth I don't think he said it, but somebody mentioned that he's going to come in the Pentagon and remind the Pentagon that it's about killing America's enemies.
Yes.
Not freaking DEI and all this nonsense that's happening.
I'm going to say it reminds me, but it's an actual playbook. So if we're being fair, they're pointing to 2 tattoos. This is one of them. Yeah. The other is Deus Vox. It's God wills it, which Pete has on his bicep, which is Latin and another phrase that's been around forever. Pat, you and I have talked. You remember me from ESPN. I'm going to tell you a situation that happened when I was at ESPN that this reminds me of. It's the OK symbol. Do you remember the OK symbol controversy? So kids play the circle game, which looks like the OK symbol, right? It's been around forever. And they attacked several different groups for this, but one of them was a graduate class at West Point, who they get a picture taken, and kids play the circle game. If I can get you to look at the circle, then I can punch you or whatever. A guy did it at the Cubs game behind Harold Reynolds, if you'll remember. And Theo Epstein, then GM of the Cubs, said he ran cold. His spine went with chills. That Wrigley Field was filled with white supremacists. They turned something benign to 99% of America, right? The OK symbol, into a sign of white supremacy because they found some internet rabbit hole craze theory where someone had done it and associated it with white power. What they're doing is taking longtime symbols, in this case, Christian symbols, and turning them into white supremacist. And that is not only, I do think, Tom, actual malice and defamatory, but
I agree.
It's dishonest, it's knowing what they're doing, and it's just crap reporting, horrific reporting.
Yeah. I mean, it's not working. What is important to look at this picture here, the peak on his biceps looks pretty good. So listen, Pete, if you're watching this, very impressive.
Very impressive.
Good for you.
He's definitely turning the wrist with the curly curls at the end.
But
Got those baseball biceps.
Look, I mean, the model is no longer working. When in 2020, I'll never forget, we're doing our podcast. We had 47,000 viewers. Concurrent viewers, we had 6,700. We're at the office. We leave. I go home the next day. News comes out. Biden's probably going to be the president. Of course, it takes a few weeks. Everybody around me is panicking. What's going to happen? COVID, Biden, what are we going to do? We step back. We put a plan together. And the last 4 years have been the most ridiculous 4 years of our lives because we sequenced everything out. 15 moves, business, personal life, finances, all of it. Now that Trump's president, that same strategy that worked in 2020 should be different than the one we have in 2024. Tonight at 6 o'clock, I'm hosting a webinar called the No Matter What webinar. Tom and I will be sharing with you guys what we're planning on doing the next 4 years and some of the strategies that you ought to consider doing as well for yourself the next 4 years, especially when we're coming down to business planning season. Right now it's November 19th. January 1st is going to be here like in the next 6 weeks. And those of you guys that got big plans in 2025, planning starts now. Go to vtwebinar.com, vtwebinar.com. Put it in your calendar. It's only 5,000 people that can be on. We don't have it more than 5,000 people. We'll start at 6 o'clock. I'll give a PowerPoint presentation to you guys, and then we'll go from there. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.